my sabbatical. Today I left Singapore in the morning, flew up here to, I'd say, central Thailand on the east coast. It's a small island called Ko Samui. Ko stands for island and Samui is the name of this island. I had a lot of stress this morning though, because I had to finish packing. It's just incredible how I had 4 months to prepare for this trip, and yet I didn't manage to really pack in time. So it was a bit of a hurry, and I think I packed almost everything I needed. There's one or two things I realized I forgot, but I can get them here in Thailand or later on my trip. So this is the little resort I got to. I'm just gonna show you, for those who haven't been to Asia or to Thailand or to any similar place. This is a type of bungalow you get for about $40. That's yeah, $40 a night. Pretty nice. When I got here, there was an old lady at the front on the reception, and she didn't really know what to do because she didn't expect me. Luckily, I had a confirmation. I showed her my confirmation slip, and she had to decide which room to give me, which wasn't too hard, to be fair, because apparently I'm the only guest. And probably that's because of the weekend. I wouldn't be surprised if there's no guests at all here next week. I definitely came here off season, which is nice. You go to the beach, you're alone. You walk in the road, you're almost alone. I just went, found a little restaurant. I was the only person having lunch there and got excellent service. And possibly prices are even better out of season. Yeah, one thing I wanted to show you is my bag. I'm gonna carry it over here. This is my bag. This is what I packed for 3 months. Actually, not exactly. This is for my first part of the trip. This is probably a bit more than I will take on the second part of my trip. But this bag, this must be around 60 liters, maybe a little more. Yeah, it's the stuff I need. I hope I probably overpacked. There's probably some stuff in there which I may end up not using, but I just wanted to be a bit careful, especially stuff that I can't easily buy where I am, because if there's an option to buy something, I will rather leave it at home and buy on the road when the occasion arises. But in this case, I'm having to go from tropical Thailand here, it's probably around 35 degrees right now, high humidity, to Mongolia and Russia, where at least these days temperature still drops below zero at night. It requires you to have quite a lineup of different items, in particular clothes, and I try to keep it light, and well, I'll see if I survive with what I have. So when I got here into my room, first thing I did is I plugged in my devices here. You can see I plugged this stuff in here, and when I did, I heard a loud bang. It's not banging now, so I'm lucky. And I went in here into this little kitchen, and I saw that there was a crisp sound. Actually, you can still hear it if I go close enough. So I don't know what to think of it. I don't know if I'm using too much power here with the aircon or what's going on. Well, as long as it's not catching fire, I guess I'll be fine. So what I'll do today, I'm gonna go to the beach, just have a look, and I'll probably write a bit on my blog, which I still have some catch up to do. Actually, maybe more than writing, just posting some of the blog entries that I wrote in the past months, although I've had absolutely no time in the past several weeks to write anything. And I don't know, I suspect I'll maybe do more of these little movies going forward than writing. one thing that never stops amazing me in Thailand, out here on the islands, is how nicely the buildings and villages fit into the landscape. It's just amazing. And there's a nice clear water here. And there's not a single person out on the beach. I got it full out of season here. It's definitely, if you like to be on your own, have some space, even if you come here with your family and friends, this May is the right time to come here. It's a beautiful day. Doesn't look like it's gonna rain anytime soon. Although here on the camera it may look a little gray, but that's mainly because I'm going against the light. It's just amazing. So one thing I was gonna just talk about is what I'm gonna do tomorrow and the week ahead. So somewhere back here in the hills, let me see if I get this right. Yeah, back there, about here, midway up the hill, there is a monastery. And that's the place I'm gonna go tomorrow. And that's the place I'm gonna stay until next Sunday, so just about 7 days. I wanted to learn meditating for a while now, and the reason I want to learn meditate, it's essentially because I want to learn to calm down and to focus. Start at the beginning of the day with a strong focus, and you know, as we go through the hectic days, have some technique to really calm down of all the stress that's going on around me and inside me, frankly, and focus on what really matters. I've tried to read some books. I have listened to some podcasts, but what I realized is that it's difficult unless you get out of the daily I wouldn't call it stress, because day is day and not everything is stressful, but essentially out of the daily routine of doing things and your environment, it's difficult to just get the calm, to settle, to spend enough time to truly get into meditation. So definitely I'm very far away from it. So as I was researching for this trip, I Googled meditation and somehow got across this meditation retreat. There are many all over the place, but this one here in Samui, which lasts only 7 days, actually fit my itinerary very well. And I decided to come here for this meditation retreat. Now I have no prior experience. I do not know much beyond the basics that I read about meditation. So I'm going to be a complete meditation beginner, and I don't know what's going to expect me. All I know is that it's going to be quite intense, although it is advertised as a beginner's course, but I believe it's going to be intense for the following reasons. The first one is it's a silent retreat. So the moment you enter, I think you enter, you sign up for chores, etc., and at 4 p.m. or so, everybody who is going to be there for the week should have arrived. You're supposed to be silent. You're going to have to be silent for the full 7 days. If you're not silent, they're going to ask you to go, most likely. So it's silent 24/7. The monks are going to talk, the monks are going to instruct, but we participants are not allowed to talk. So that's the first reason why it's going to be tough. I think, although that may not be the biggest challenge for me, I do like silence. I say that now, not having done 7 days in a row, but I do like silence, and I'm an introvert, and I get the energy from being able to be with myself for a while. Now, the second thing is, and that I think is going to be tougher for me, is not really eating much. We get up at 4:30 a.m. every day. We have to do some work, there's some yoga, there's some morning meditation, and at 7:30 there's a breakfast. I expect it's going to be typical Thai breakfast, some rice and some vegetables. This is a vegetarian, it's a Buddhist retreat, so it's going to be vegetarian. So that's a breakfast. By 12:30, after more meditation, maybe some more yoga, etc., there's going to be lunch by 12:30. So that's afternoon. And then there's nothing until the next morning at 4:30 a.m. when you get up and you wait another 3 hours to have breakfast. So there's nothing from 12:30 noon until 7:30 the next morning. There's a tea or a drink somewhere late afternoon. So I'm quite worried about that part because I pay attention to my diet, and I actually follow quite the opposite diet. I eat throughout the day, and I eat quite often small meals. Now what I expect here is not that these are going to be huge meals. I think these are going to be small meals, but only 2 of them. So we'll see how we do. It's going to be physically relatively easy, the days, as in we're not going to do much physical effort. And so possibly the hunger won't be too big. Okay, so let's see. The third thing, which I don't know how I'll do, is the sleeping arrangement. Essentially, we're gonna sleep on a stone slab. So it's like a dorm style, for what I understand. And you just sleep on the floor, or I don't know if there's elevated platforms, but essentially you sleep on stone. And there is a pillow, which is a wooden pillow. So I imagine it's a wooden block. It doesn't count as pillow, if you ask me. A wooden block is not a pillow. But maybe good to elevate your legs, especially since I sprained my ankle. But I don't think I'm going to elevate my head on this wooden pillow. So I did take some clothes that I can put in a bag, obviously. Or rather, I did take a bag so I can put my clothes inside and maybe use those as a pillow. I took a very thin yoga mat, so we'll see how that helps. But that probably is going to be the hardest part for me out of all 3, simply because I may not get enough sleep, and not being able to sleep just doesn't help for these long days without food and lots of meditation. But I think there's not going to be much sleep during the day, if at all. So that's what I'm going to do for the next 7 days. We'll see if I survive. I look forward to it, but I don't know whether I'm going to be able to survive, quote unquote, as in make it through the 7 days, because I, at least at this point, just feel like I need to get out and do things. So we'll see. And obviously I won't be able to report back during those 7 days. No electronics, no devices, no nothing. So I will, after that, talk about my experiences.